You're on mute.
I thought you were going to start. Greetings, everyone. Greetings and welcome to the Simply Together show. Myself, Dee Bailey, and my amazing co-host, the lovely Cecile.
Hi, everybody.
I know you think it's the same recording because I say every week we have got two awesome guests for you this week, and I'm going to hand over to Cecile to introduce our first guest. Guys, as always, please share because there's always valuable information. Over to you, Cecile.
Thanks. Thank you, Dee. So I have got this lovely guest come on today. I go way back with Louise. I've known Louise since most probably a teenager, I would think. We go back many years. And I am just so excited to have you here today because you're on a new journey. And I want you to share with everybody out there this new journey that you're on, but also what has brought you to this journey. So over to you, my lovely.
Okay. Thank you for that introduction, Cecile, and hello to everybody that's watching. So I'm Louise, and I'm Louise Clark, and I'm an international mindset coach. So as Cecile says, I've known her for a long time, probably back when I was a proper tearaway. So I'll start at the beginning. I think that's probably the best way to start. So I was introduced to crime at the age of 9. And I suffered addictions. I started smoking weed at 10, and that went right the way through to heroin and crack addictions at the age of 16. I was suspended from school 15 times and expelled 3. So it's safe to say I was a little shit growing up. I was a tearaway. That continued throughout my late teens, and I ended up in a prison sentence. I went to prison twice. One was on remand, and the second I got my sentence and served my sentence. When I was released, I kind of knew that wasn't for me. That's not what I felt that I was about. So I went back to school, and bearing in mind, I hated school. I hated being told what to do. I feel that my reputation, so my brothers and my family had been involved in crime, and my friends were, and I felt like I had a reputation to kind of live up to. And you know, in my head, some of the times when I used to do stuff, I used to tell myself that's not even you, but I would do it anyway because I just felt like I needed to be, up there or have my reputation, which looking back just sounds so silly. But at the time, and even now for youngsters, it is something that we feel that we have to do. So I went back to and studied, and I ended up getting a law degree. So I had to do my because I had no qualifications whatsoever. I did some access courses I did some city and guilds because I wanted to go down the fashion route. And I ended up working, which was great. I ended up working for the marketing director for Arcadia Group, worked with them for 8 years as his PA, which was great, really good, really insightful, worked on some great campaigns. And I thought, no, do you know, there's still more to me than this. And I thought, I'm going to go back and get a degree because in my head, I just wanted to get some qualifications. So I went back, applied to do a marketing degree, and because it was an extended degree, my first year, one of the modules was law, and it just seemed to click. Like maybe that's because I'd had so much probably bother with in the past that it really kind of clicked with me. So I went back, I did a law degree, I got a first-class law degree. I won a scholarship for my final year by the Still Bursary Trust. They funded my final year. Got Student of the Year. And also I used to do something called Moot, which is basically advocacy. So you pretend to be like a barrister, you take on that role, and you go around the country with different universities. And I beat Oxford, which for me was just like, yes, that's kind of the girl from Luton has just beaten Oxford in a Moot competition. Exactly. That's exactly how I felt. So then I went on and I worked on some amazing stuff. I went on some amazing campaigns. I worked for FIFA World Cup. I headed up their Rise as One campaign in 2014. I've worked on Champions League, Europa League, Wimbledon, Gulf Open, really, you know, great jobs. And then I worked all my way up to a chief operating officer of an organisation. So it was a shift then. So I worked for all of those great companies, and it was really good, really insightful. But I still felt like part of me wasn't on my right path. It was great that I did that. It opened doors for me. I met some people, really changed me around, but I still didn't feel I was on my path. I had some issues with my daughter back in 2019, which were really eye-opening for me, and it was something that made me aware of the troubles that people were still facing. Because although I was aware of it, I where my sort of 20 odd years or 15 years working in that industry, I'd kind of sort of moved on from that. But my daughter got involved in a little bit of trouble when she was in 2019, and it brought me back. So I ended up working for an organisation as their chief operating officer, which helped ex-offenders into employment. So I worked with the prisons, people were being released from prisons, young offenders, and the care system, care leavers, and gave them the education that they needed to get into employment. So whether that was a City and Guild, whether that was a CSCS card, whatever qualification they needed. But what I was really fortunate, where I've got my commercial background, I worked with organisations, because I think one of the things is we can get people qualified, but actually if there's no outcome for it, it doesn't do well for their mental health. So, and they start to lose belief again. So I worked with organisations to make sure that there was real job outcomes. For me, that's the most important thing, is to get them qualified, but give them a real job outcome that pays minimum wage and above, or living wage and above. So did that for a couple of years, and it was great. And then loved that, really loved it. And it really opened my eyes to what's available, what's not available, but what could be available if we word it right. And if we change people's perceptions on ex-offenders. I'm one. But people always say to me, you don't look like one, which is probably my biggest bugbear, because how do we define
what does one look like?
What does one look like? And actually that just shows that you've got this preconception already. So that's where I need to quash them down. So did that, and I was loving that. And then obviously through the pandemic, and then last year, my life came to a massive abrupt, just everything came crashing down in one go. So I was with a partner who lived up in Liverpool. He actually owned the organisation that I worked for. And we broke up, which kind of, it was going that way, which was fine. A couple of weeks, we broke up. The next day, my mum went into hospital, and bless her heart, she never came out. So she'd been fighting cancer, but she went into hospital she'd beat cancer with vertigo. And a month in there, it took everything from her, and bless her heart, she passed away. Between then and the funeral, I'd found out that my partner that I was moving, we'd got a house and everything, had moved in with somebody else and their child. That kind of really hit me. That was straight after my mum. And then my first day back at work, they said, actually, Louise, we don't think it's because he's got a new partner. We don't think it's good for you to work here. So in the space of 3 months, I'd lost kind of my planned future, my beautiful mum, and my job. And I was just like, the hell do I do? Like, where am I going? What am I doing? And it was the first time in my life that I felt like I had like nothing, or felt like it, because even before I had like a fighting spirit in me, and I was like, that doesn't bother me. I'm getting water off a duck's back. I'll get up and try something else. This time it really took the wind from beneath me. I think because of losing my mum, which obviously, still it's the most heartbreaking, devastating thing that could ever happen. And you don't, although sometimes when they're ill, you can prepare for it, you can never fully prepare. So.
And she'd been poorly and got better, and poorly and got better.
Yeah. So she'd had cancer twice, grade 4, beat it both times. Little Irish lady, power of prayer is what she always said. And I'm a huge believer in that. For her, it was the power of prayer that got her through. And then she just felt unwell. And I think her body was unprepared, or her body was tired. Yeah. And it was just, it had enough. She was 80. So, yeah, I thought, well, what am I going to do? And I felt like everything. I thought, well, I kind of, in my head, I thought, well, I've a chief operating officer. I've kind of gone from being the prisoner to a chief operating officer. I've done what I can. And it's like, well, where do I go? And I denied for a little while, and a lot of time, there was probably about a month where I felt, woe is me. And I felt like, and I was starting to get bitter. And I had a conversation with a friend who said to me, you've lost your sparkle. And I just thought, that was the biggest, like, oh my goodness, because I was dwelling. I was thinking, like, you know, I'm woe is me, and it's all happening to me. And I know now it was happening for me. But then I decided, right, okay, I came across coaching, and I was like, before I'd never looked at it. I'd done counselling back, gosh, years and years ago. So I thought, right, I'll give that a go. And I thought, I'm going to give that a go. I'm going to give coaching a go. So I did it, but it was more for my self-help, and it was for me to make use of and understand what I'd been going through. Started it, absolutely loved it, and it just ticks so many boxes. I then enrolled, did my NLP. I've done so since then. Since last year, I'm internationally accredited coach now. I'm qualified in cognitive behavioural therapy, NLP master, which finishes in February. So I'll be NLP master. I've studied emotional intelligence, and I'm launching my coaching business. So so the website launches at the end of January. I was going to do it December, but I've had a few changes because I was thinking, where am I going? What am I doing? So yeah, I'm launching. I'm helping professionals helping people through pandemics. So I'll give you a bigger picture. My goal is to help as many people as I can. The end plan will be to help people. So I hate the term, but marginalized individuals that don't have access to support, that need it, that don't have it. So I'm having to be strategic in the way that I do it. So I'm going to use my corporate background, and I'm going to help businesses navigate their way through the pandemic, help their workforce back into work, how they can get back into work, understand and be mindful that everybody is different and everybody has been on a journey. Whatever your belief system is around the pandemic, you know, I'm not here to judge anybody, but it's had an impact and an effect on you in some way. So to support people through that journey, but for every business, that this is where I'm going to be completely different. Every business when I charge them, there's going to be a corporate responsibility part of that. So that what they fund, a percentage of that will go to running courses for our youngsters. So I am using my background and my knowledge. So I have got qualifications in law, in business, in marketing, I've got international HR management and masters in that. I've got a degree in law. I've got a CIM level 7 in sales and marketing. I've got business setups. I'm going to run programs like that for the youth, but that's going to be funded. So what I am doing is getting some CPD courses. So through this year, I'm going to be doing my coaching, getting some CPD accredited courses running for our youth, which is what the coaching business is going to offset some of their money in corporate responsibility to fund them and help them through, but also help them with getting jobs at the end of it. So it's been a massive whirlwind. It's been huge, but I tell you what, I've never been so excited for the future in my life. And I feel that now it happened for a reason. And you know, it wasn't happening to me, it was happening for me. And I'm a huge believer in that. And now it's about, I'm on my right path, and I can't wait. I'm really excited. And ultimately it's helping as many people, and you know, it's the youth, and that's where we're going to team up and do some stuff on that, because for me they're the forgotten generation. They will be, and that they need some help and support through this. So yeah, that's a bit about me.
I'm literally buzzing. I saw you, bumped into you in Sainsbury's. Would it have been 2 years ago?
Yeah, it was, because it was just after the situation with my daughter, wasn't it? I was going through that. Yeah.
Yes. So you was trying to deal with the stuff with your daughter, and the spark was going, I think.
Yeah.
Then the Louise that I know, that bubbly with that spark, wasn't there, but you was dealing with difficult things. The Louise I'm seeing today is just, you are just over. They're effervescent, you know, like things, and they bubble, and you're just growing. You just, I can just see that. It's fantastic.
See, that's the thing. I've got so much energy for this now. Like before, I think even like when I look back, and the coaching has really taught me that when I was working in those corporate environments, there was a part of that I was me, but actually I battled with imposter syndrome my whole life because I kind of felt like I wasn't doing what I should. And I never told people about my criminal past. I never told them that because people do judge. And people would be like, oh, and the minute I said it, people were like, oh, you don't look like one. And they get all like, kind of almost doing like nodding, stiff upper back, kind of stiff upper lip look. But it just shows that we have perceptions, and I really want to battle them. I really want to knock them down. And but yeah, so now I do feel like I feel energized. Like when I get up in the morning, I'm excited to get up. I get out of my bed at 6 a.m. I jump up out of bed now, and I'm down at my computer. I do my reading. I do everything in the morning. I go for my walk. And this is me working for me. This is me working for me, on me, to help other people. I used to think when I used to look outside, I spent, it's a snow day. Do I get a day off? When I was working before, but I don't feel that anymore. So yeah, I know this is right.
That is brilliant. We've got a couple of questions.
Yeah.
Where was the one? Why did you fall into crime?
Oh, good question. I think it was around me. So when I was growing up, I was exposed to a lot of older people in my life, and I fell into crime it wasn't, I say, by choice. It was, would you listen to a scanner? Listen to the scanner and see if the old bill come, and then let me know. And then I got £5 for doing it. And that £5 helped me for whatever I needed it for. And with that, then, because I got £5, and I mean, I'm 9, 10. And then my older friends started to smoke weed, and that paid for my weed. And it was almost like instantly I felt like cocky. Like, yeah, I've got £5. I can buy weed, or I can go and buy some Embassy No. 1. And it built a reputation. And I kind of felt like once I had that reputation, I couldn't step away from that. And then I found it harder. So then I went and then wanted to do crime. So I went into shoplifting, I went into stealing cars, I went into doing all that to get money, because it became addictive of being that, having that reputation.
Yeah.
And then,
But the thing is the knowledge that you have going right back to when you was 9, to all the things that you've done all the way along, you're going to be able to straddle the youth and the business and the corporate and bring that all together because you have all of that knowledge.
Yeah. And that's key to me, is making sure that the businesses, because they've got a huge responsibility within our communities to make sure. So one of the big things, and this is where my law background comes in. So for construction companies, they have something in their planning document called a 106. Now, people don't comply to that 106. That 106 means they have to give back to their communities. They have to employ a certain amount of people in their communities with a job. So we're looking like, so I'm based in Luton. We have got millions of pounds being invested into Luton. We have got millions of jobs coming up. I want them to adhere to their 106, and I will 100% hold them accountable for that 106. And that's where the training that comes in. I will work and get them qualified, because funding as well. We can get funding, and it's making sure that we pull down on the right streams. But they should be held accountable, because that's their corporate, and that's their corporate social responsibility that they have to have. So that's where I'm going to put it all together and hold people accountable, and because there are opportunities out there. And one of the big things that I find at the moment is, we are obviously post-pandemic, or we're going through the pandemic. We have seen a lot of unemployment, a lot of people made redundant. So at the moment, we have a large talent pool of people and quite a small labour market. So we have got highly qualified people going for entry-level jobs. I understand that. But what we can do with the 106 and these construction industries is to start training people that haven't. So people that are leaving school, these 16, 17, 18-year-olds. Obviously, there's health and safety issues around getting them onto site, but that is something that we can do through a training academy, which is another thing that I've been looking at doing, which is something that Luton needs. So, yes, it's pulling that, using my past experience and my commercial experience. And I think where I've got older right now, I don't care. I'm quite ballsy now. I'm going to say, actually, you are, you know, and hold people account. Whereas before, I think I'd be a little bit more reserved. Now I'm like, no, I know legally what you're meant to do, and it's holding people accountable. So, yeah.
Dee, you know what I'm like when I get really excited about something. I don't have any words, right? So, but Louise, you can do this, and that's what we need in Luton.
Yeah.
And the fact, I mean, I've never even heard of a 106. I don't even know what that is. You know, the fact that you know that and can hold people accountable is actually going to be brilliant.
Yeah.
So I'm just so pleased you came on here. I really am. I am so pleased you came on and shared.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely.
Thank you so much for having me on. When you said it to me, I was like, oh, and the thing is, one of my trainings cancelled. So it was like, it's meant to be. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
So stay in the background. Because Dee's here. She's going to introduce our new guests, and if we get a chance, we'll come back to you, but just stay around. Okay?
Yeah, we'll do. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Louise. What we'll do, I'll get you back on the real talk, and we can really have a longer chat, and you can share, because how you managed to rattle all of that off in such a short space of time. I'm telling you, I'm glad I'm sitting down. I'm glad I'm sitting down. Honestly, well done you, and you know we'll be in touch. And Cecile,
thank you.
Excellent. So I do believe we may have some people that might have problems, it looks like, accessing the show, because we are, I believe we're streaming on YouTube as well as Facebook, but I think I'm getting messages that some people can't see on Facebook, so I'm not really sure, but we will continue, and people will hopefully be able to watch the show back later on. So I'd like to welcome now. You need to hang around in the background, Louise. You need to get on your Google, and you'll be like,
I will definitely.
I'd like to welcome our second guest today. If I say we might be doing a little bit of a duet a little bit later on, but welcome the amazing John Cheatham.
Hello.
Oh, greetings, John. Greetings. So for those people out there, they're all kind of like, okay, so we've got this man, his name's John Cheatham. So who is he? They don't know who you are, John. Some of them do, but you know, a whole heap of them don't. So we are going to be introducing you to a new audience, because obviously we are live out there online to the masses. So John, tell us, because you weren't even born in the UK, were you?
No, I'm born in Brooklyn.
Brooklyn as in like New York?
New York.
Check this, guys. We are, even though John is in the UK now, but he was born. He was born in Brooklyn. So we're not going to give away your age or anything like that. But you were born, and you were one of how many, John?
One.
One of one?
One of one.
You not got any siblings?
No.
I'm thinking like, so John.
Maybe that's why I spent so many years of my life singing with singing groups.
So that you could be around people, so you didn't have to feel on your own. Okay, you know our time here is short, because this isn't my major show that we've got oodles and oodles of time, but tell the guys a little bit about yourself, and then we're going to start getting some questions come through and we'll answer them. So tell them a little bit about, obviously you're born in New York, and then what?
Well, okay. I was born in Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
I went to, back in those days, it was a melting pot. I was born back in the 30s, right? So that tells you.
It's a bit of your age, yep.
Yeah, so back then it was a melting pot. People were coming from everywhere, different countries. And Brooklyn was that type of a place. I went to school with Puerto Ricans, Chinese, people from the West Indies, Jewish people. It was it was a great upbringing because there were so many different mixtures of people going to school together, you know. And I went to Methodist. My mother was very religious, and my mother was from West Virginia. My family was from West Virginia, and then they moved to New York to get work. And my mother was a school teacher, and I went to Methodist Church, First Assembly Zion Church. That was our church. I was the first choir boy at the church. We were the largest black church in Brooklyn. Easter Sundays and Mother's Day, we used to get 1,500 people in there on a Sunday. And I used to sing a solo on Mother's Day and Easter, and I used to make quite a bit of money back in them days. And even as a young child, I made money singing. And singing's been in my life, and the rest of you folks don't know about it. You do. I mean, I've been in show business for 60 years. I've had hit records for 40.
How many years did you say?
60.
60.
Yeah, well, maybe a little more now, but
Oh God.
yeah. Well, I mean, my first group, the Velours, we had our first hit record in 1956. I was 16, and we were number one on the pop charts in America. And when I graduated from Boys High School, I went straight on tour with Ray Charles, my group, and it just went on from there. I've worked, like I say, I've had hit records with 4 different groups. My first group was the Velours. We had 4 massive hit records, and then the group broke up, and then I moved. I was invited to come to England because soul music was breaking out in England. And we formed a group called the Fantastics. And in 1972, we had a hit record in England called Something Old, Something New. Something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue.
Oh my gosh, that was you.
Yeah. Yeah, that was me. And after I left the Fantastics, I was offered a solo career, which I didn't much enjoy. Being a solo artist, I enjoyed singing with groups. So I went back and I joined a revamped Platters group. And our first album sold 3 million worldwide. And I worked with them up until now. You know, we're still going. But most of the members, original members that I worked with, they're all dead now. I'm the only one left. I was inaugurated into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame back in 1996. And so I'm the only living golden oldie, I guess. I guess that's what you call me. Yeah.
I don't know about golden. You're just absolutely amazing. There's messages like coming through. Who is the most famous person you've worked with apart from yourself? And that's from Natural Mystic.
Oh, Jesus. I said we started off. My first job was work with Ray Charles. We worked with Ray Charles for 4 years, and then I've worked over the years with just about every singer. I mean, my relationships that I had with certain artists, Gladys Knight, we met each other when we were young in the business, and we stayed friends up until today. She was going to be the godmother of my son John, but unfortunately, they never came back to England. She left the group and went solo. So the Gladys Knight and the Pips never came back to England. But I mean, just about, you can mention anybody in showbiz, I probably work with them all. I've been friends with them all over the years. So,
oh wow! Name them, John. Name drop. I need you to do a few name droppies. You said Ray Charles.
Well,
just
no,
do a few more for me.
Well, you name people and I say yes or no. It's easier that way.
Okay, so Natural Mystic is your character in the Ray Charles movie? She's asked.
Well, you know, in the film Ray, they had the three girls. They showed the three girls in the nightclub. But on that same show, my group was also on that show because we worked with them. They were the Relettes. They were also from Brooklyn. They were called the Cookies, and we worked together. Like I said, we worked together for 4 years. But I've written everything down in my autobiography 3 years ago called "Keeping DOO-WOP Alive." Yeah, this is.
I was going to say you better have a copy there.
Yeah, it is.
Raise it up a little bit. Raise it up just a little bit. That's it. Keeping DOO-WOP alive.
Yep.
I do have a copy.
Yeah.
I love that. Did you think of that title, John?
Huh? Yeah.
Did you think of that title?
Well, between me and my ghostwriter, Yvonne Rose.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
And there's also a 2-hour DVD of me sing with my different groups, and also my solo work. And also there's a double CD, 30-track double CD of all the hits that I had over the years. So yeah, it's going to be re-released sometime this year, hopefully, sometime between now and Easter, hopefully. So
okay.
So people, they'll be able to get their hands on it. You know?
Okay, so is that going to be a new cover? Is that going to be
the same book?
Yeah, but just relaunched.
Yeah, just relaunched. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, just relaunched. So
yeah,
I'm currently in my house, John, and I am absolutely freezing. I'm freezing. Yeah. So how long have you been living in the
UK? 50 years.
50?
Yeah, I came to England in 1967. And I didn't come to England to live here. I came here to work. And I met a young lady, a young Jamaican lady. And she was, matter of fact, she was one of the first Black agents, young agents in England. She was an agent. She worked for the Rank Organization. And she came to a show one night and she says, hello. She says, I'm your agent. I said, no, you're my wife.
You didn't. I don't believe that, John.
Yeah, just like that. No more talking. That's it.
Oh my goodness. Is that how smooth you were back then?
Yeah.
And so have you never wanted to like go back to live? Are you been quite happy? You know, you've been happy here. You didn't want to go back to America to live?
No, because I didn't, because like I said, my mother was a school teacher, and so was I. I taught school in New York too, and I taught elementary education in the ghetto.
Oh wow!
And I didn't want my children to, if we had any, to go to school there. So I had 2 sons, and they both went to school here. So I had no intentions. I mean, the things about it is the only things that I actually missed living in New York. I missed the NFL, the NBA.
Yeah.
But once I got that, I'm here.
You're not bothered.
CNN. That's it.
You can get it all here. You can get it all here.
And funny enough, looking, I mean, the few friends that I have left America that are still living, that we live over here. When we look back at the way the news is reported in America compared to how it's reported here, it's so different. I mean, Americans look at the news totally different than we do. See, I mean, I looked at news the way Americans looked at news before, but since I've been living over here, I have a different perspective on what the news is all about. See, and from an international basis, it's wonderful to be able to have that much logic. You know, Americans don't know a lot about news. They don't care much about news because if it's not American, it doesn't count. So the rest of the world basically doesn't count as far as Americans are concerned. See, but being an international artist traveling around the world, you need to know these things. I mean,
yes.
we've worked many years. I've worked many years in South Africa. I worked in South America for years. And so you have to know about these countries, you know. I mean, I worked in South Africa doing apartheid. I worked in the townships. I worked in Soweto, Mamelodi, Tembisi. We put together a band back in 1977, I think it was. We put together a band in South Africa to open up Sun City, and the band was sensational. We had 4 musicians from 4 big tribes. We had 4 Zulus, 4 Bedes, 4 Sutus, and that band stayed together. Even when we left, we toured together for about a year, all through South Africa, and of course Namibia, different countries. And then Paul Simon went to South Africa to do the album Graceland, and he wanted to put a band together. The band was already there. So one day, I remember I was in the house and my phone rang, and my wife answered the phone and she says, "Oh, John, somebody's on the phone." I said, "Who is it?" She says, "It must be some of your friends from South Africa because they asked for Mr. John, right?" So I picked the phone and said, "Hello." And so John, it's I said, "Who's this?" He said, "You don't recognize my voice?" I said, "No." He says, "Tambo." I said, "Where are you?" He said, "I'm in London." I said, "What are you doing in London?" He said, "We're working at Royal Albert Hall with Paul Simon with the Graceland band." And I just dropped the phone and started crying. I just couldn't believe that these great guys, they were able to get out of South Africa because they were tremendous. I mean, we could have bought that band out of there. We would have done, but the circumstances, we weren't big enough to do that. But Paul Simon was, of course. And these guys are truly, truly great. All that stuff is in my book. Pictures of us traveling around South Africa called the Realistics Roadshow, and the fun that we had. It was things like that you just can't. You just think about it and just say, "Well, this was all part of my life." Having a great life, you know, all in show business.
There's so many messages coming through because we're streaming on YouTube, and these guys are what an amazing experience, what a fantastic experience, interesting journey. The thing is for me, John, when I met you a couple of years ago, and you're just so humble. I'm like, really? And you never changed. You just never change. There's no kind of airs, there's no graces. You are just, yeah.
Ego's for the stage. It's not for life. I mean, you can't you go on the road, you come home and you got a family, you know, you can't walk around like some big star, you know. Your children don't get the benefits from that. Every time I go away, as soon as I come back, I put my clothes up, put my sneakers on. I go over to William Hill, right? To my horses.
Oh, wow. You got horses.
Oh, yeah. That was the worst thing about the lockdown. No horses for 18 months. I almost went crazy.
Oh my gosh, there's just so much to you. As you can see, what the producer Shelley is like streaming across there is your website, also the information about your autobiography.
And I tell you, right, my 2 sons, right? I mean, Jamie's 42 now, Blake's 36. They traveled with me for years. I mean, they've been everywhere in the world. But I've always taught them, when you go back home, your friends are still your friends. You know what I mean? You go home, no bragging. You know,
keep them grounded. Yeah.
So they've always had they've always had the same friends. You know, their friends will come to the house and they say, "Oh, is that your dad's latest hit?" You know, they'll sit there, listen to it. You know, "Hey, Mr. Cheatham, how you doing?" You know, we sit and talk. But yeah. And I like Kestrel.
You like what? Sorry,
Kestrel. I like to drink Kestrel.
is that a lager?
Yeah, super Kestrel. Yeah.
See, everyone's like going like, I'm like going Kestrel. I'm thinking, I've seen that somewhere. I've seen that.
Yeah,
They're all
super
laughing
Kestrel.
at me.
Yeah.
You are absolutely. Oh my gosh.
I grew up when we first started drinking, when I was in the Velours, when we started touring with Ray Charles. I mean, we were too young to drink then, but a few years ago when we started drinking, of course, on Americans, we drank bourbon. We always drank.
That can't be good for the throat, John. That can't be good for the throat.
It works well with the throat. It's the drugs that take your throat away, not the drink.
Oh, I knew Cecile would know what you were talking about. Cecile, who's actually my co-host. Let's bring her. Let's bring her back on. John, I mean, I'm just thinking. You're sort of saying at the age of 16.
Yeah.
I can't imagine at the age of 16. I'm just about know my name, let alone kind of like be out there and singing and. I don't know. How were you kept grounded? Cecile, do you understand what I mean now?
Yeah, I do. Do you know what? I was literally just going to say, so John, Dee only drinks ginger wine. That's about as much alcohol she knows.
Yeah. Okay.
Most people doesn't even know what bourbon is. It's good for your throat. When you've got a cold and you've got a sore throat, you need to have a bit of bourbon or a bit of rum or a bit of whiskey, you know?
Most folks over here, most black folks over here, they drink Ray Nephew. That's the medicine.
Yeah. I don't do Ray and Nephew, but I do know what that is.
Yeah. I have a my wife and I, we built a house in Mandeville in Jamaica. And I hadn't gone down there since the house was built. I think it was in 2000. I think I went down to 2004. I think Luther Vandross died. I saw his funeral down there. And the mosquitoes were waiting for me and my son. Oh my gracious. So the Ray Nephew, I was using that to rub my legs and my arms to keep away the mosquitoes and the sandflies.
Do you know what? People go mad to know that you use the good Ray and Nephew for rubbing.
No, but I was drinking Appleton. Appleton is great.
Drink the Appleton and use the Ray and Nephews to fend off the mosquitoes. Exactly. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. But did you kind of just miss Dee that he slipped in about Luther Vandross's funeral? Did that just kind of went in and then went away?
No, because I remember when I was there, that his funeral was on telly.
Gosh, yeah. Wow.
That was a tragic death, you know. I mean, the thing about it is when you think about people like Marvin Gaye, Otis Redding, Luther Vandross, these people died at such young age, you know, and they had so much to give. Sam Cooke, they had so much to give that you know, we would never know what would have come later, and that's a real tragedy.
Music might be slightly different if they had still been here, maybe.
I mean, Whitney Houston, right? I mean, I used to go watch her when she was singing in the church with C.C. Winan back in the day. I used to get headaches listening to her sing. I said, boy, if she ever sang pop. And then what happens? I mean, her mom sang with the Sweet Inspirations. I mean, I just see them all the time, of course, because we used to work shows with them. And you get singers like, you know, we have two levels of singers. We have what you call a singer, and then you have a singer, right? A singer is a Chaka Khan, a Whitney Houston. We have different views about Beyonce, whether she's a singer or a singer. But I work with them all, and I remember when the first time I heard Chaka Khan to sing at a rehearsal, I was at the first time she came to England. I couldn't believe that little girl could sing like that. I just could not believe what I was listening to. That's why I'm saying I'm glad that I was born at the time that I was, because I've seen so many great artists over the years, and I've worked with them, and it's been such a great pleasure, to be able to talk about it. Because a lot of you haven't seen a lot of these artists that I'm speaking about.
They don't even know who you're talking about, John. Some of these people, they don't even know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
So-
there was a we used to work with CC Ryder. He used to love our group, and anytime he got a chance, I went to Valor's tour on tour with me. I mean, we toured forever with all these different singers. We worked with all the top blues singers. It was an amazing time. Amazing time. I mean, a lot of my guys got hooked up with drugs and bad women, and a lot of them left the group, left early, and we kept changing and changing and changing. Like I say in my book, I've been in 4 different groups. We've had wine, women, song, hit records, money. What happens at the end of the day? You go back to your 9 to 5. Then you start again, another group. Wine, women, hit records, money. And would end up back to your 9 to 5. So the last time when I got the group together, I said, that's it. No more 9 to 5 this time. That's it.
John, you are absolutely awesome. We are going to have to finish up, John. What do you want to, because obviously we've shared the new release of the book is going to be on hopefully between now and maybe Easter. We'll certainly get you back on to share that. I'll get you back on the main show. What are you gonna sort of like just sing a little so that the guys, because they're out there going like, don't know any of this tracks, don't know. What are we gonna sing them?
Me?
Let's just do a little medley. Hi, Louise.
Hiya, that was great, John. Such an interest. So blessed to actually just be here with you today. So it was amazing hearing your story. Really amazing.
It's a pleasure being with you. And Cecilia.
Yeah.
What are you going to sing, John?
Me?
Yeah, you.
I'm out of whack. I'm sure I'm out of whack.
No, you're not. You're not.
Let me see. There's a smile of magic in your eyes. Candyland appears each time you smile. Never thought that fairy tales came true, but they come true when I'm near you. Write your name across the sky. Anything you ask, I'll try. And bet you by golly, wow, you're the one that I've been waiting for forever. And ever will my love for you keep growing strong. Keep growing strong. That's it. That's it.
Oh my God, I'm crying. Oh my gosh.
I got goosebumps.
Amazing.
We are so blessed to have you join us today, John. Thank you. Honestly, thank you so much. We're going to get you on the main show, and we've got much longer, and we'll have more interaction, because this show's, well, it's supposed to be half an hour, but as you can tell, we've gone over that.
We gotta have a show where we can be together.
That goes without saying, John. I told you. Cecile's ready for the road trip.
I am. I'm going. I'm there. Always.
I told you, if you're in Scotland, wherever it is, we just need notice, John, and then we're going to book it, sort it, and we're coming.
Okay.
One question. Nike's absolutely loving your voice. Did you ever duet with Smokey Robinson?
Smokey Robinson is one of my best friends, right? I mean, we haven't spoken to each other since for years. But when he was in the Miracles, because he was in the Miracles and I was in the Velours, and we used to tour together, but we never sang together. I mean, just in the dressing room, we used to sit and sing and have fun, between shows and all that. But yeah, I mean, he's an icon. I mean, a true icon, Smokey, really true. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you, John. And our first guest today, Louise Clark. Oh my gosh, you kind of just reeled a load of stuff. We need to hear that on a slower bass so that we can absorb. No, not that because you knew time was, but I mean, as in like, because I was in the back and I was just inhaling it. And Cecile knows that's all that we do, isn't it? It was tick, 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 tick. So however you need to be on a show, you need support, Louise, we at Simply D's, we can do that.
Perfect. Yeah, I did. I messaged Cecile afterwards and was like, oh my God, I kind of felt like, because the time was short, that it just outpoured it all. But yeah, I'd love to come on another show with you and International Women's Day and all of that. Yeah, definitely. Love to. So thank you for having me on.
Cecile, you're doing a great job, and what you don't do, you don't give up, right? There's no such thing as I can't do.
Definitely.
Right? Always remember that. Never say I can't do. Just say I will do.
Yeah.
You'll get there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. What a way to end the show. Cecile.
Yes. I don't know what to say. As usual, we don't know what's going to happen when we go into these. Louise, seriously, we don't know what's going to happen. And we have had a fantastic show. Absolutely fantastic show. Both of you have been amazing. And yes, we're going on a road trip to go and see John. And we're going to get Louise into... Louise is coming as well. We're going to get Louise into Pamtengo Radio. And yeah.
And John will be back on.
John is going to be back on as well.
Yeah, we have some concerts coming up. The early part of the year, February, March. As soon as I find out what the date, but they keep changing the dates because of this COVID, this virus, right? They keep changing the dates, so I'm not really sure. But when they pin one down, if it's a proper concert, I'll let you know.
Oh, excellent, definitely. John. Without a doubt, we're going to be there. We're going to be there. So for all that are watching, thank you so much. Please continue to share. We will be back next Tuesday, won't we, Cecile? Next Tuesday, 12 to 12:30 for your next instalment of the Simply Together show. So for now, thank you very much indeed. And bye-bye. John and Louise, if you could stay on for just one moment because we're just coming off live. Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
See you guys later. Oh, my God.